Let's go. Let's get it. We're back at it. Episode 62, NFL Week
That was
1.
so fast.
The boys are back. We're all here. We got a lot of overreactions, some underreactions on some games. Week 1, we got fantasy going. We got Thursday night football, Sunday, Monday night. A lot of excitement. What's going on, fellas?
Just happy to be back. Happy to be back. We're gone for a couple weeks, getting ready for the season, and now the season is here. And you know what happens when football season starts. We do our annual picks, and we'll get to that after we do our topics. But this year,
for a second, you sound like you were at training camp. We're back. Season's back, baby. Training camp's over.
Yep. But yeah, so there were some upsets. There are some things you expected, some things you didn't expect. So we're going to overreact to all of that. We're going to, even though it's not Monday, we're going to Monday morning quarterback it and talk about. And so, Gabe, first game of the year, Buffalo Bills versus the Los Angeles Rams to kick off the season on Thursday night on NBC in Los Angeles. The defending champs go on and face probably the best team in the AFC right now. That is the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. Okay, what are your thoughts from this game? Are the Bills going to the Super Bowl?
I mean, listen. Heading into this game, you figured the Bills they've gone to the AFC Championship twice. Obviously, they lost to Kansas City, and so I think they're heavy favorites going in. They have a really good team. So going into this game, this was going to be like a really good game. This is a real good game to start off the season.
Statement game right here.
So you go to LA, the current champions, last year's reigning champions. I had a lot of high hopes for the game going in. But if you want to get into it, we could talk about what we actually saw. Jojo, how much of the game did you actually see? And
I saw a majority of the game. I was sitting home watching it, so I was fortunate enough to watch, analyze, and I also had your boy Stafford in fantasy, unfortunately, for that game 1, week 1 here. So yeah, I was tuned in. I was tuned in for sure.
Yeah, so let's talk about the game. Julian, how do you think overall, the performance of what we saw? Obviously, we have the result. Obviously, the Bills win 31-10. Did you think that the Bills had a great game? Do you think LA had a bad game? What were your takeaways from this season opener of the NFL?
I think the Bills just had a good game. Honestly, they came to play. They beefed up that team in the offseason. That team last year honestly should have been in the Super Bowl. They were probably the best overall team throughout most of the league last year. Had the number 1 defense at one point, and the number 1 offense at one point. And they're coming back in there again with some added pieces. And Josh Allen, besides the 2 interceptions he's thrown, 26 for 31, to almost 300 yards, 297, with a 9.12 QBR. Outside of those 2 interceptions, you couldn't ask for a better game.
And real quick, not to interrupt, but those 2 interceptions, man, one of those, we got to have our own category for quarterbacks for not his fault. I forgot who he threw to, went right through his hand, slipped through, easy interception for the Rams. That wasn't even Josh Allen's fault.
Yeah.
On that throw. Perfect open man, middle of the field. I don't know what happened with that. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's a shame that that happens and it just counts against you, but it's whatever. He's going to throw way more TDs than interceptions anyways. But Stephon Diggs had a night. The whole receiving core just had a really good night. The run game was solid, but this game also had a ton of turnovers.
Yeah.
A lot. Matt Stafford threw 3. Yeah. Josh Allen had 2. And then was there a fumble? Am I drawing a blank?
Yeah, there were some fumbles where we lost.
Yeah,
we got sacked
sure.
and lost the ball.
Yeah. There's 2 fumbles from the Bills and then 1 fumble from the Rams. So yeah, a ton of turnovers, a ton. So turnovers make it exciting. That's the sign of 2 really good defenses. But I think the offense for the Bills just were able to weather through the storm and continue to just produce. And the Rams, even though they added to their offense for whatever reason, they couldn't get the ball rolling. They really need to stabilize that running game, I feel like, because it's rough.
Yeah. I think anybody who's a Cam Akers draft owner is feeling pretty sad right now. I think Darrell Henderson Jr. I think he got like 18 touches to Cam Akers 3. Cam Akers, I think hearing out of training camp, he's still dealing with injuries, and a lot of people are jumping off the Cam Akers ship, picking up.
I was never high on him.
I was pretty high on him, man. If he's healthy, man, I think he can be productive. I am a Cam owner. I did draft him on my team. So
before everybody thinks Gabe is a fantasy expert, mind you, he has Tua as his quarterback. So just
hey, listen, man, I'm stacking up. Listen,
I can't say anything there because I got smoked that first round. We're gonna talk about that later.
We'll talk about the Dolphins later. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about LA. Let's talk about LA and the Bills because I think Julian, you said it. You had it right. There's tons of turnover. I think but it was an excellent game for the Bills. They came out right and they scored on the first drive they scored, and they just kind of pounded the Rams. I don't think this is maybe this might be a bad one-game performance for the Rams, but I expect these teams to be playoff teams. Like this is just week one. Yeah. I'm not gonna overreact. Okay, I'm not like Julian. I'm not gonna overreact to any game, any one loss in week one. I just think the Bills are good. There's a reason why Josh Allen is favored to be MVP. He was in the past, probably a favorite, top 5, top 3 guy to win the MVP. And they play excellent. Bills should be really good. The Dolphins should be afraid.
I mean, my biggest overreaction, and I wouldn't even say it's an overreaction because I think it's very possible that the Bills make it to the Super Bowl. Whether they win or not is a whole other thing because that's like a curse over there. They never win, but they go all the time. But I also, as a Rams fan, I wouldn't worry too much about it. The Bills are a very, very strong team, and it was tied going into half. So this is the second half kind of fell apart. You couldn't convert on anything. Yeah. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, we'll see as the season goes. That division that the Rams are in are starting not to look that strong as it was the past few years. But we'll see. Jojo, what's your big overreaction, underreaction from the game?
Listen, my big overreaction was I can't even believe that we haven't mentioned this guy's name yet. Von Miller, the acquisition of Von Miller onto Buffalo's already number 1 ranked defense made all the difference for them, and you're gonna see it the rest of the season. LA lost.
Lead the league in sacks.
Listen, man, he had the first sack of the season. He came out strong. Now all the attention is gonna be on Von Miller on that side, which is going to open up opportunities for other defenders to go after that quarterback, and which we saw. Stafford had pressure all game, hence why that second half, man, it caught up to him in terms of scoring. That Bills defense they were just going crazy. And let's talk about your boy Ramsey getting smoked the entire game. It was looking like the Super Bowl again. It was just, wow. Yeah, man. So those are some names that we haven't mentioned here yet. So those 2 performances you got to watch closely, both on the defensive ends here. But shout out Von Miller. Bills did the right thing acquiring him, and as you can see, it costed LA, man. It cost losing him, having Von Miller and Aaron Donald on the same side, which was ridiculous on their defense last season. So that's something I've noticed, a big major difference in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the big thing too is you got to give Allen Robinson more than 2 targets that whole game. For a guy you just paid a lot of money for, the guy who can win one-on-one balls and is a really good receiver and can be a number 1 receiver on any team in the league besides that team. You got to give him more than 2 targets. Cooper Kupp had a game. He had 15 targets, 13 receptions, 120-something yards. But it's like you got to incorporate more players in there. You have these guys that you can, especially if the running game is really lackluster, and who knows if they're going to be able to fix that situation throughout the rest of the season. You got to involve Allen Robinson there somehow. Like you have to.
No.
Well, lucky for the Rams that Bills aren't in their division, so they don't got to worry about them so much. But again, that was a big statement game for the Bills. They came out strong. We saw exactly what we expected from them. I think the Rams will be fine, like Gabe stated. But for the Bills to get over that hump against their division rivals and their conference and getting over KC and Patrick Mahomes later on in the playoffs, I feel like they really made the offseason adjustments, even though it's just game 1 of the season. But they're off to a good start.
All right, let's talk about another game that happened this week, week 2. Probably one of the craziest games of week 1. I mean, there's all kinds of action. Week 1, all kinds of crazy game. But one of the craziest games during the witching hour, that twilight hour before, the 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock games start and the 1 o'clock games end, was the Steelers-Bengals. What a crazy game. Steelers coming in with Mitch Trubisky, obviously the end of the Ben Roethlisberger era. Mitch Trubisky is going to get his first start. Bengals coming off a Super Bowl appearance. So a lot of high hope going into this Bengals-Steelers game, obviously a division rivalry. Julian, how much of this game did you see, and what were your takeaways? What you thought was
this game was ugly. This was an ugly-ass game. This is just one of those games both teams just want to, like, erase. Just an absolute ugly game. Mitchell Trubisky had a terrible game. Joe Burrow did not have a good game. I'm actually curious. I don't know if there's any Steeler fans out there. Like, why was Mitchell Trubisky picked over Pickett? Was that like I don't know if you even know, Gabe. Like, was that like a Tomlin decision? Like,
people have been asking. So what I hear is from Pickett is like they're just waiting for like a couple weeks. They're giving Mitch Trubisky a chance. So maybe
because he played well, in the preseason.
They might see, week 3, week 4. You might see a switchover depending on how the season.
MVP Mitch.
So I mean, that's just rumors. I hate, people obviously are high on Pickett, but Mitch Trubisky gets a start. But Julian, like this game
is terrible. I wanted it to end. That game deserved to end in a tie. That game deserves to end in a tie because it was so bad. I wanted Boswell to hit the post again because, one, I just hate Steeler fans. I don't care. Like, I hate them. I can't stand them. So nothing I want more is to see a Steeler fans get their hopes up, and then he hits that post again. But he didn't. He ends up draining it like the last
man's a savage
30 seconds of the game. But
Train
it was
just
bad. I mean, we talked about how the Bengals need to increase or strengthen the offensive line, and they supposedly made moves.
We've been
those
preaching
moves
it.
Are not coming into fruition because Joe Burrow got sacked 7 times.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
7 times for 39 yards.
There's no shot he got sacked. This is actually my real reaction. There's no shot. He got
you didn't know that?
I didn't even know that. No, I did not know that.
Did you watch the game or see highlights?
No, I couldn't really watch that game. But what?
Even with the revamped offensive line.
Or what is going on that? They don't give a fuck about their quarterback.
Also, another thing that I don't understand why they didn't run Joe Mixon more. I mean, he had 27 carries. I guess never mind. I take that back.
I mean,
the amount of times they need a backup running back because Joe Mixon was the only guy rushing. Like, I'm looking at the stats now. Other than that, Joe Burrow had 6 rushes before that, and then their second string running back had 1 carry. So they need another guy. Joe Burrow threw the ball 53 times. That's a ton. He went 33 for 53. 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Wow.
Like, for a guy who has, which in a way, it's like, okay, like, what's throwing me off is because why the stats are throwing me off, like 27 carries, but yeah, he threw 57. They played pretty much a 5th quarter. That's what's throwing me off. And then the overtime, they ran the ball a lot. So I'm like, why the fuck does he have so many carries? That just doesn't seem right. But
wow.
Yeah, I mean, in a game, like, you got to get the running game strong. You have a really good running back in Joe Mixon. If you can get another guy, get the ball rolling. You cannot have him sit back there 53 times because with that offensive line, he's just going to get eat up. He's going to get absolutely destroyed.
Offensive line? I thought they made adjustments during the offseason for that.
And then meanwhile,
is this an overreaction too soon? Or since we're still in that topic, am I overreacting that he got sacked 7 times in the first game of the season?
No, you're not. No, you're not. Being
I saw a crazy tweet over the weekend that, like, in the last 3 games that Joe Burrow played, I'm talking about Super Bowl and the AFC or the championship, was he got sacked like 21 and a half times in the last 3
He got
games.
sacked in that divisional round against the Titans. Yeah. I know that.
Wasn't it like 13 times or something?
He got in the last 3 games apparently 21 sacks. I had to look
It's
it up.
ridiculous.
That is insane.
Twitter, so Twitter's not real; it's fake. But
all right,
that's the last thing I
but is it the O line now at this point? Can we redirect it? Is it Joe Burrow? Is it his timing? Is it his pocket presence? Is it his decision making? Is it
some of those interceptions? Those interceptions. Some of
a little bit of both.
The interceptions were bad. Yeah. I will say that the very first interception by Micah Fitzpatrick, that was a good read by him. That was a good pick. Could Joe Burrow probably should have saw that. Yeah, but that was a good play by him. I really like the way he read that. He jumped the receiver. That was a really good pick. But I guess you could say Joe Burrow should have saw that coming. Or at least threw it out a little wider. Damn, Gabe, you good?
Drop my phone.
But yeah. Also, but 53 times is a lot. And I get they played a whole other quarter, but that's still a lot, man. Especially when you consider that Trubisky threw it 38.
Yeah. I'm gonna overreact, man, because if I'm very high on the Bengals, and if this is gonna be a continuation of last year, we knew they had O-line problems. I think they got some draft picks. They drafted.
What is the overreaction, Gabe? What is it? What is it? They don't make the playoffs?
And I was thinking that the Bengals are division favorites. Obviously, and we could talk about the other game. The other person that performed well this season. But I'm overreacting on the Bengals. I'm down on the Bengals, man. I'm down on the Bengals week 1.
Wow.
I'm overreacting.
Damn.
Off the Steelers, huh?
Overreact. Gabe said the Bengals aren't making the playoffs. You heard it here first.
You lost to the Steelers, a division rival. You lost to them.
To Trubisky.
You should have won easily. You're coming off a Super Bowl appearance. We knew you had problems on the O-line, but you also have talent. Obviously, they threw to Jamar Chase a whole bunch. I think Mixon played decent. He was fine. It's just that O-line, man. If you're getting pressure on him, I can see why, if you're getting pressured, you're getting sacked, why interceptions can happen, right? Because you're just trying to get rid of the ball, right? Because you're not trying to get sacked, you're trying to get losses. So you're just throwing shit up there. If this continues, like for the next couple of weeks, if there's no improvement, like you get a whole off season to get ready and to draft and prepare, I don't think they might be fighting for a wild card, which is pretty crazy.
You know what might be the case though, Gabe?
What's up?
Coach Tomlin, gave his team, every single player, a pair of black Air Forces before the first game of the season. I don't know if you guys saw the videos and pictures. So they got that black Air Force energy with the Steelers right now, and that could mean a lot.
I tell you what,
you know how dangerous it is to be walking around on black Air Forces, right? You get a speed boost. You know what I mean? Your acceleration,
speed boost,
your defense, your strength. All those stats automatically go up for the Steelers. So it could be because of that as well.
I will say we can end it. This last thing on this game is thank God. If you're a Steelers fan, at least, thank God that TJ Watt does not need surgery. He had a monster game until he got injured in overtime.
He hurt his shoulder. He came out of the game.
I don't know what they feared that it was a torn pec, which would have took him out for the entire season.
Wow.
But it turns out that he doesn't need surgery, but he's going to be out for a while, maybe 6 weeks. I got to check I think it was like 6 weeks. It's just top of my head. But man, he had a monster game besides that. I mean, obviously he's the leading sack leader last year, and he looks like he was on track to beat it again. But now
I forget that
sucks to see an injury like that.
I don't know if it was a sack or if it was just him tackling the quarterback, but he did tackle somebody and came out the game immediately. You saw him walking off holding his shoulder. So maybe it's just a dislocation. Maybe it's just some, ligament laxity that he has, on his shoulder. So Steelers, they overplayed what I thought. Like they played more than what I expected. Micah Fitzpatrick had a big block. We talking about the block kicks, all the kicks that got missed. The Bengals kicker, I immediately dropped from my fantasy team. A rookie kicker. You see him miss once, I'm like, fine, whatever. A rookie, you miss once, you come in a second time.
Fact that all right, so hold up. For all the fantasy people out here, don't take Gabe's advice. He has Tua as a quarterback. He had Cam Akers, and he had a rookie kicker.
Okay, well, he's not on my team anymore because nobody. I got Koo on my team. Anyways, so let's transition. Let's talk about another game that happened this week. going on down in South Florida.
Gabe,
The New
I need to
England
see it.
Patriots.
I
New
need to
England
see it.
Patriots. They came down
Gabe, I
5
need to
days.
see it. Gabe, you gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Okay,
I
I'll
got.
do
You
it.
got
Okay, whatever.
hold up. Before we go on about the
Peer
game,
pressure.
I was watching part of the game, and I saw everybody doing this. And Gabe, please tell me this is not a Dolphins fan thing, because this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
I know. What
I
you're
don't
gonna
know
say.
if I don't know if
I
it
know what
was
you're gonna
just
say.
I don't know if it was just these fans, but Jojo, I don't know if you saw the highlights or whatever. These fucking fans were doing this. Like fucking dolphins. Like what the
No, that's not a dolphin.
like penguins.
Sir, let's get into the game. Sir.
What
That's
is
a waddle.
that?
That's a
It's a
waddle.
waddle.
Sir.
It's
Okay?
a waddle. I was
Let's
like,
talk
what
about-
the fuck is that, dude? I was like, is that Flipper? Like, is he like
No. So let's talk about it. Patriots, they came down
The
all the way to South
waddle.
Florida. They came down I think they came down 5 days ahead of the actual game on Sunday, right? Because they came down there. Apparently,
Wow.
in Miami, it's a oppressive sun. Oppressive
Yup,
heat
that
down
humidity
there.
hits different.
A lot of drought. They haven't had any hurricanes in about 7 months. So the Patriots came down 5 days ahead of schedule, try to acclimate to the weather. So going into this game, Jojo or Julian, I'll go Julian. Julian, going into this game, like, what do you think about the Patriots season heading into this game? Do you have high expectations for them?
No, I mean they're pretty much the same exact team as they were last year. To me, they looked as a team they could push for a wild card. But I honestly wasn't I was honestly expecting the same season. They didn't really make any like major moves at all. Besides the Devontae Parker trade, which I don't know, they seem like the same team, but honestly, by the end of that game, they seemed like they were worse. Obviously, the Dolphins beat the Patriots first game of the year last year. Was it last year? I believe so. It was so, but yeah, man. I like Mike McDaniels. That guy, he knows how to play call. That guy really knows how to play call. But I don't know what to think of the Patriots. I'm glad. Like I'm glad that. But then again, it's week 1. It's Bill Belichick, the greatest coach to ever coach the game. They're going to turn it around. Just when you think that they're out of it, they somehow squeeze together some wins. The defense for the Patriots still look pretty solid, but they need to figure out something offensively. I'm not super huge on Mac Jones. I'm not huge on any Alabama quarterback. As you saw the Alabama duel. That's probably going to last for a while between Tua and Mac Jones. They both kind of look the same, play kind of the same. I'm not huge on either of them, as Gabe knows. But I don't know, man. I think the Patriots is one of the, like, you don't want to take them out of the game too soon, because like you said, they could string together a couple wins and you never know. As for the Dolphins, like I said, Dolphins look good. They look really good defensively.
That defense.
I like the play calling and the scheming. I would really still like to see them really open it up more with Tua. But other than that, the run game looks solid. But yeah, Gabe, what do you think? Were you waddling at home?
Yes, I was waddling.
He was doing it.
Waddle. Let me shake it.
He was doing it.
Yeah, my takeaways from the game is coming into this game, I expected the Dolphins to beat the Patriots. Obviously, Patriots, a little bit of a lull. I don't really have high expectations for the Patriots. There's not really a lot of competition. Obviously, the Dolphins, with the Bills being so good, the Dolphins are fighting for that second spot. So coming into this game, I expected the Dolphins to win. They come out hot. You can see that the change in play scheme, what you talked about earlier. They're using Tyreek Hill a lot on rushes. I think he rushed like 6 times. I thought overall, Dolphins looked okay. Tua looked okay. Tua did not play a perfect game. Tua, overall, the Patriots, they were able to stop the Dolphins' run. They were able to stop the run game. So a lot of the game, came from passing. And the special teams, I think the defense played well enough. I think the defense had a better game than the offense, and a better game than Tua individually. Tua was just okay. There was a hype in our chat. I think Julian, he was like, "Oh, how do you feel about the Dolphins?" I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't really overly like impressed with this week 1. I did expect them to win. It wasn't an ugly win. I'll take the wins as they get, as they come. But Tua overall, I'm just like, not really impressed. The expectation coming in this game is like, yo, you got fast guys, you got Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Edmonds, you got all these guys, Mozart, whatever. You guys can, all these guys that Mike McDaniel transported from San Francisco. You got Wes Welker, the wide receiver coach who came from San Francisco, former Dolphin player. So I was expecting this explosive, like, wow, fireworks in the sky, planes crossing in the air.
Oh, there was fireworks in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
there was fire. There was fire in the sky.
Wow, yeah. Almost forgot
there was
about
fire.
that.
Maybe not on the field, but overall,
fire in the parking lot.
Yeah, I thought the defense played well. They stopped some big plays. There were some big passes to Devontae Parker, who obviously went to the Patriots, former Dolphin, that they were able to stop. I think the front was pretty decent, the defensive line. Tua made some dumb decisions. As far as there's times where he was about to get sacked. There's still pressure on the O-line, his backside. The Patriots, again, they were able to stop the run. So all these like fake bootlegs where he passes one side and rolls the other way, they were able to like spy that and watch that. So they definitely got to clean up their run game. Their run game got stomped out. They weren't.
Yeah, I mean, only 65 yards, 23 carries.
But Tyreek Hill had a game. I think Waddle played pretty good. He obviously scored first. So going back to all this waddling shit, that's the fans waddling. That's like it's a celebration. Sports
I was
is dumb,
like,
man.
what the fuck? I was like,
it's funny as hell, but sports is dumb. That's a dumb celebration. Overall, I expected them to win. Now, going forward with the Dolphins, they do have a tough schedule because right now, the next game they play, they're going to be playing at Baltimore. The next 3 games for the Dolphins are going to be really tough.
I saw that.
If you want to talk about a test, if week 1 was an ugly win, man, it's going to be tough going into Baltimore. That's my overall takeaway. Tua.
Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati.
Ooh.
These are tough games, guys. Tough games for Tua. And he's got to clean up.
This could make or break the season. I know it's early on, but
I don't think it's make or break, no, man. It's not make or break. The first 3 games are not.
They won. If they lost against the Patriots, I would be like, oh shit. Yeah. But like,
that's the take I was gonna go on too with my thoughts generated. What I was saying though, real quick, those next 3 games, you can't go 0 for 3 just because they're good teams. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, you got to split it, man.
You got to beat good teams.
You got to beat 1 or 2 of those teams. You can't go 0 for 3 just because you started off and beat the Patriots here. Like, tough schedule, 3 games. You guys got to come out and beat one of those teams. That's basically what I was trying to say.
If you want to make the playoffs, you gotta beat a good team.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it is make or break this early on. The next 3 games. If you go 0 for 3 and now you're starting off 1-3 and you know what I mean? Like, you're already in the dumps. So you're not going to come back like last season and win 7 in a row, which it could happen. But what are the chances of that? You started off what was your record? I don't remember, like 1-5, and then you won 7 in a row or something like that. Like, how many seasons you're going to play from behind, you know?
But honestly, outside of those 3 games, it's not the craziest, like the toughest schedule in the world either. Jets, Vikings, Steelers, Lions, Bears, Browns, Texans, Niners, Chargers, Bills.
That's why Gabe's not worried. That's why
the first month is tough. First month is tough. These are all AFC teams. The Ravens, AFC, obviously Kansas City is an AFC team. So tough month for the Dolphins going ahead. Well, Lamar Jackson looks really nasty. So that's a takeaway for the Patriots Dolphins game. Let's go over to another game that was pretty crazy, pretty revealing. Let's talk about,
surprising,
reigning,
but
MVP
not surprising.
Surprising, not surprising. Let's talk about the reigning MVP and Aaron Rodgers going to Minnesota. Obviously, a divisional rivalry. Way to start off. Big game for the Packers, and pretty much a dud. Pretty much, Green Bay Packers got mollywopped the entire game. It was kind of desperation the whole entire game. Julian, I don't know if you're able to see any of the highlights. What were your takeaways from Aaron Rodgers? Do you think Aaron Rodgers still reigning MVP?
All right.
Did he play like an MVP yesterday?
Okay.
Last week?
I think my take is going to be different from you guys because I don't think it's not about how bad the Packers played. I think Minnesota has been slept on this entire offseason. Minnesota has been a good team for the past few years. They've been having some weird coaching decisions and like play calling that just wasn't working well. Obviously, they changed it up, and that team is good. That team is very good. And my overreaction from the game has nothing to do with the Packers. My overreaction is that Justin Jefferson is going to be the best receiver in the league this year because that man is an absolute monster, and they were leaving him wide open. And Kirk Cousins had a game. Kirk Cousins was on fire. He was balling. Dalvin Cook was running the ball. That team is a very good team with a really good offensive line. You have Dalvin Cook who can just take the top off like a off the defense, and the same thing with Justin Jefferson who could just jump up and grab any ball. And then you have Adam Thielen who can just run his crossing routes and get little dunk passes and just score. So that's a really good team. The defense is stout. That team is really good defensively. I think it has nothing to do with the Packers. I think that the Vikings are a very good team. They just the past year or two, they didn't make the playoffs because of like bad coaching decisions. But now I think they should win that division, and they're going to the playoffs. That is a playoff team. They are very good, and they are way better from top to bottom than the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers literally had nobody. Aaron Rodgers had nobody except Aaron Jones, and that was it. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon were the only ones doing anything for that team. Sammy Watkins had like a catch or two. Like
there was some big.
But that was about it. I mean, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones had a combined of 111 rushing yards out of 18 carries. Obviously, they were down, so they had to throw a lot, but no touchdown passes, nothing. I mean, their number one receiving, the player that lead in receiving was A.J. Dillon, who's not even a receiving back. He's a big body back, and he had 5 receptions for 46 yards. You want Randall Cobb had 2 catches. Robert Tonyan had 3. Sammy Watkins had 3. It's just bad. It's just bad, absolutely bad receiving core. That team is going to have to absolutely rely on the rushing because that's all they have. And the defense, honestly, obviously, like I was just hyping up the Vikings, but the defense has to stop. Justin Jefferson was wide fucking open. I don't know how many times. Wide open. And he is the best, one of the most talented receivers in the league, and they're leaving him wide open. Dude had 9 receptions, 184 yards, 2 TDs. Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, my takeaway from the game was, man, Aaron Rodgers looks empty without any weapons, right?
Yeah.
This whole thing about getting his contract, getting paid, right? He's like, oh, you want to get paid? Well, we have to get rid of the talent around. He had all this big thing about he really wants
Which
Randall
I don't
Cobb.
buy.
Yeah. He had this thing about Randall Cobb. He really wants Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is the difference. It's going to keep him there. It's going to make him happy. Look at the results. There are a ton of names I've never seen, never heard of before playing that on the Green Bay side. And it's pretty sad when your running back is the leading receiver with like 40 yards or something like that.
And he's not even a receiving back.
So, man, he looks like a skeleton without any help, right? And yes, it's great to have the MVP player. He should play well. But if you have nobody to throw to, nobody with talent to get out there, which is probably the biggest gripe that everybody thought. Maybe the biggest thing I thought that Aaron Rodgers was mad about is that every year in the draft, they never draft any talent. You know what I mean? They never draft any wide receivers. They're getting like 3rd, 4th rounders, like instead of skipping the 1st and 2nd round. Never get any help. But they did draft your boy Love in the 1st round. So I thought that was the biggest gripe. Now he's getting paid. Nobody else is around him. Devontae Adams had a good day on Sunday. MVS Scantling, what is his name? Van Scantling in Kansas City had a good day. Aaron Rodgers did not have a good day.
Did not have a good day.
I think it's pretty bad. I'm overreacting. I'm saying Aaron Rodgers, not good enough. Not good enough this season. I don't think they make the playoffs this season.
I really don't think it's Aaron. It's bad GM play. Like we could talk about all the money issues all day long, but it's like at the end of the day, Green Bay has never been a team that spends money.
Nope.
They have no depth. they're not getting any players on good salaries, no budget. Like, you have the ability to bring in people, and they don't. Honestly, go get fucking Odell. Get somebody in there. Like, obviously, Odell's not who he was, but you got to do something. Like, for real.
Hey, it looks like Odell might be swinging towards the Bills. I don't know, man.
Oh yeah,
Might be looking towards that side. But my take on Aaron Rodgers, man, you'd expect I don't want to overreact, but I am going to overreact. All right, it's kind of like give me a flashback to last season, right? I predicted him last season. You guys can go back on the last episodes where I predicted it correct, that he had something to prove with his organization, and he was going to go and have an MVP season, in which he did. And when they got smoked by, I think it was New Orleans, right? That first game of the season, everyone looked like that. He
like
threw the
45, 42-0.
Yeah. And then, that was just the first game of the season. But now I'm thinking like, hey, I mean, Aaron Rodgers already got paid. He doesn't have any weapons. He made his decision, right? He could have left. He could have went to a contender, right? That, seemed like the Broncos, right? That needed a quarterback. But he chose the money, and Green Bay got rid of all of the assets there. So now he's stuck, and that's the hand that he played out. And now what, right? So usually, and it doesn't really matter what team Aaron Rodgers has, but when they go play Minnesota, he dominates Minnesota. So it looks like the tables have slowly turned, and now he's just stuck in Green Bay and has to play out this sad, depressing season. So that's my overreaction on that game one where Aaron Rodgers.
How the turns have tabled.
Wow.
But Gabe, what like? All right, I was just so.
Yes.
What do you guys think of my assessment of the Vikings, though? Like,
I mean, the Vikings are
playing very well. Yeah, Gabe.
Obviously, Tyler, I've been high on Justin Jefferson, man. As soon as I saw him his rookie year, I'm like, yo, this guy's going to be a star in this league. So I'm very high on Justin Jefferson. A lot of people are down on Thielen because they think Jefferson's going to be so good. So, yeah, man, the Vikings should be fine. Dalvin Cook is an excellent quarterback.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, coming out of FSU. Dalvin Cook, as long as he stays healthy, Dalvin Cook should have a good year. Justin Jefferson, like I said, I'm high on him. They have a couple rookie. They have a rookie tight end who didn't really get a lot of spots. But man, Justin Jefferson, what a fantastic! If you got him in the league, that's a first rounder. You pick him up.
Hey, he already dropped a 40 piece in fantasy, man. He already got 40 piece.
I mean, and if Kirk Cousins keeps on playing like he's playing, shit, he might get an MVP call. Like, I mean, man, that was one hell of a game by him. One hell.
Yeah. So there we go. Let's talk about another game, a crazy game that happened this week. Actually happened on Monday Night Football. We
don't want to talk about this game. I think we're gonna skip over this game.
The greatest quarterback in Seattle Seahawks history, Geno Smith. Geno Smith
and his lime green.
Takes down in his highlighter Sharpie jersey. Bro, that game meant something to those Seattle fans.
Oh man,
that game meant. You guys hear the boos?
First of all, that was uncalled for. Why the hell are they booing this man when he gave y'all everything and he got traded? Okay, he wasn't a free agent. I got a max contract.
I agree.
Like I don't understand. Like
he gave them the best years in Seattle franchise's history.
Like,
never, besides the 1 year with Matt Hasselbeck, they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
back in like Ben Roth.
Against the Steelers, right? It was against the Steelers.
Yeah. Besides that, like short era, they were terrible for decades, all the way from like the 80s to like they were terrible. Like name a player before that Matt Hasselbeck. Like
you can't. And here's the thing: you got this young guy under 6 foot. How tall he is? He's short. He comes in his second season and gives you a Super Bowl against Peyton Manning. So,
the number one offense in the league that year.
Obviously, going into this game, it was a revenge game coming in. Obviously, we see he gets traded.
That was a real revenge game.
Yeah. You know what's crazy though? Like I had the highest expectation on his team. I thought this game was gonna be a walkthrough. I thought we had it in a bag. You got Geno Smith. We had our whole segment on him. This man came out of retirement. I finally played, get some burn on the field. shout out Geno Smith. We're gonna get into all the shittiness with the Broncos of the coaching, the fumbles,
I couldn't believe it, dude,
and all the bad luck that went against us. Right, we're gonna scrap that to the side. Oh, shout out Geno Smith who made it a game for the Seahawks. He kept them in.
Bro, that wasn't him. That was somebody else. Like I refuse. There was some sort of like staging, like
I don't know,
like something happened. There's a conspiracy there. That was not Geno Smith. I refuse to believe that was Geno Smith.
That boy came to play, man. When he was coming off that hike going into the huddle, that boy he went in there with a mission. He was efficient.
That's what I'm saying. That wasn't Geno Smith
scoring early. That guy came to play. Okay, I don't know. Russ came out there to I don't know.
He must have heard us on the podcast.
I think everybody's been trashing him because like, oh, fuck, you gonna play Geno Smith, terrible reject, New York Jets reject, like bad. Like everybody thought that was gonna be Drew Lock's like job, but I mean,
I said it. You called it out. He's like, oh, Geno Smith with the starting position. I was like, no. He's only starting the last preseason game. He is not going to be their starting quarterback. And look at this guy. He got the win over the Broncos in the first regular season game as a starter.
I mean, it was a great upset, man. Because that division, the Seahawks division, nobody expects nothing on the Seahawks. If they go 0-16 for the rest of the year,
yeah,
I think the season's still a success because you beat your old quarterback. Nobody expecting nothing. Nobody expecting nothing from the Seahawks.
That's their Super Bowl. That's their Super Bowl.
That is their Super Bowl. That is the Super Bowl. The season's over, guys. We can cancel.
The season's over.
We have our Super Bowl.
Let's draft next year. Let's go. Get ready for the draft.
But aside from Geno, man, now let's get to the nitty gritty with what the hell happened with the Broncos and. Jeez, man, like those fumbles literally hurt my soul. At 2 fumbles in the end zone, this game could have been long gone with those 2. We could have 2 touchdowns easy right there and then obviously at the end you guys could get into it more with the clock, with the time management. I don't know if Russell Wilson was lost. He didn't know what was going on. We expected more leadership from him. He should have called a timeout, ran 30 seconds, left them in a situation 4th and 5th with 30 seconds left on the clock. I don't know what that was all about. And lastly, I don't know how you guys feel with the coach making the decision to kick the field goal, freaking 80 yards out, instead of having your $1 million man have the ball in his hands and take control of the game and give him a shot to get that first down.
Yeah. And they had the thing with that, they had plenty of timeouts. So it's like for a rookie coach for the Broncos, you can talk more. I think there's still some good highlights for the Broncos. I think Sutton, is
I think
your primary.
We have the talent.
Really good receiver. Yeah, the talent. Jerry Jeudy
guys
really good.
Honestly played a very good game offensively and
absolutely.
Defensively. It was just finishing. When he got to the red zone. I mean, bro, I'll rattle off the stats right now. Russell Wilson went 29 for 42, 340 yards in a team.
340.
Melvin Gordon had 12 carries for 58 yards, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Javonte Williams, which I like a lot, he had 7 rushes for 43 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry, which I don't know why they didn't run the ball more. They had 20 carries with 103 yards and 20 carries with an average of 5.2 yards. Jerry Jeudy, 4 receptions, 102 yards and a TD. Cortland Sutton, 4 receptions, 72 yards. Javonte Williams, 11 receptions, 65 yards. Man, that guy, he's going to be a tool. So, like, they played well.
They played really well.
Couldn't finish. It just couldn't finish.
Those 2 fumbles are going to haunt me for the rest of the season because we're in a really tough division. So, who knows? That this game might be the factor in playoffs.
And to be fair to the coaching and like going for the kick with McManus. McManus is one of the best kickers in the league.
Absolutely.
And it has been for the past few years. So I'm not going to hold it against them thinking that you can make that kick. It's 65 yards. I mean, Justin Tucker hit 68 last year?
Yeah, there was a weird ESPN stat that anything past 60 yards, they're like the league is like 2 for like 35 or 40. There's only been 2 field goals made in recent times. I don't know the years, I don't know the months, I don't know the seasons.
Probably Baronis and
60 plus yards. So
Well,
the stat, was already against
Tucker
you.
kick last
Tucker.
year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean that the odds were already against you on that. So if you dial down the numbers, the odds of your team making that field goal was.
Yeah, and speaking of talking about decision making, I mean, Russell Wilson apparently, running this hurry up kind of offense, kind of like hurry up and look to the sideline, kind of let's grab the play, let's just go along with it, just freestyle it. I mean, that hurt them in the end, right? Because you had plenty of time. Maybe you try to, if you're trying to get offsides, okay, that's one thing. But man, what a tough loss. What a tough loss for especially having the talent that he has. I'm not saying Russell Wilson played an excellent game. I think some of his throws were overthrown. He did make some bad passes. I think he plays poorly, like throwing over the middle. But I mean, you have the talent, you have the skills. Yeah. I think they have the better team.
You have the team. Yeah,
I've been preaching it since last season and the off season. We have the talent here. We have the core. Right, or we just needed the quarterback, and they played a hell of a game. So it's
Denver
not
should have dropped like 30.
Yeah,
it should have been 30 plus,
right,
almost probably 40.
You can't fumble the ball in the end zone, like you just can't, and 2 times at that. Like I said, this game would have been blown out already if they scored those 2 TDs. So I'm not going to overreact. I'm not, because they played very well, and I think we can compete in our division against the best teams. So I'll take the Broncos over the Chargers. Over Kansas City and over the Raiders, even though we lost this game.
I will say, though, they had a good game, but don't overreact, because it is still the Seahawks, and they have a terrible defense.
Damn.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, it's still the Seattle Seahawks. It wasn't like how Green Bay got smacked by Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's like, because that's Minnesota. At the end of the day, this is the Seahawks, and they allowed, I mean, they're terrible. Like, it's a really bad team. Like, so.
All right. So that's it for week 1. I think week 1 was pretty exciting. Lots of games and upsets. I mean, tons of storylines. So we can talk a little bit more as we go into week 2. We're gonna do our week 2 predictions going forward.
Here we go.
Can we start with Thursday Night Football?
Gabe, read the question that I put in the doc.
All right, let me read the question. Will Gabe keep track of? Yes, I will keep track of all our picks and bets. I have a document that we keep on the side just to keep, see who's winning bet. Who's good at predicting games? Who's good at getting people money?
Because these past 2 years, we have not been able to keep track of who has actually won. Last year, I was like, Gabe, who won last week? I don't know. I gotta count it.
Well, I feel like I was in the lead at some point.
I have a document.
Honestly, it's incalculable. Who knows? But
anyways, let's talk about going into week 2, some of the biggest games going in, and what we think. So overall, the first week is going to be Thursday Night Football. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. Y'all got Amazon Prime? Y'all going to be watching that?
I feel like, yeah, I do. Yeah.
It's going to be on Amazon Prime. Los Angeles Chargers.
See how much you going to zoom in on that?
It's at Kansas City. Kansas City looks fantastic. They look like reigning, champions of the AFC. They look like the old, regardless of who's on the roster. They look like the old. So
that is
Chargers at Kansas City. Kansas City are the favorites with -5, so they got to score. I'm thinking they're scoring 6 points more. Total points, they got what, 54. So what, they think this game's going to be 32-20, something like that, around, maybe 5, 6, 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. So the line is leaning towards Kansas City. It looks like it's leaning to the Chargers. My bad. The odds are going up on the Chargers with 114 to Kansas City's -106. I'm gonna take. Man, you're at Kansas City. Fuck.
Yeah, Arrowhead.
I'll take the Chargers plus 4.5, but I think Kansas City wins.
So you think they're gonna cover? Okay, you think they're gonna cover?
I think they won't cover.
I'm gonna take Kansas City, man. Kansas City, they played extremely well. Doesn't matter the names on the back of the jersey. They have weapons. Patrick Mahomes still great.
I'm gonna
take and this is the easy pick. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs at home. That they win by at least 6 points, at least.
What
do you think,
JoJo? This is a tough one because I really like the Chargers, man, and I love their quarterback. But for some reason, whenever you bet against Patrick Mahomes, you just end up losing money. So it's still early on in the season. Damn.
Real quick, before you make your decision, did you watch that Chargers Raiders game? The Chargers are for real.
I know.
They are fucking dominant.
And they get better every single year, but the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. But to go into Kansas City and get a major win, division win, I'm gonna play it safe and go with Kansas City to win this game. It's gonna be a very close game, but ultimately I think Kansas City is going to win. But I think the Chargers will cover.
I think Kansas City won't cover. All right, there it is. So me and JoJo got Chargers plus 4.5. Gabe's got Chiefs minus 4.5.
I got the homies. All right, let's talk about the next game.
We got number 1 overall pick versus number 2 overall pick in the 2016 draft. Carson Wentz versus Jared Goff. 2 legends in the making. Playing for the 2 best teams in the league. Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions. Man. Detroit Lions are the favorites. This is probably the only time throughout the season that they will be the favorites. With a minus 1.5 to the
win by a safety. What is that?
to the Commanders plus 1.5. The line is leaning towards the Detroit Lions with the minus 115 to the Commanders is minus 105. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not watch that Detroit Lions game because I could honestly care less about watching the Detroit Lions. I did watch the Commanders play because they played against the Jaguars.
We know you watched that game.
I'm taking the Commanders plus 1.5. I think there's a little bit of disrespect going on there for the Commanders. I'll take the oh my God. I'll take the Commanders to win it on that plus 108. I'll take that for sure. I'm really shocked they have a Detroit at minus 126. Like
I'll take the Commanders, man. Commanders is easy money. Give me the Commanders. I don't care about either of these teams.
I'm not gonna sit here and say no damn Detroit Lions is gonna win this game, bro.
I'm shocked. Like I am shocked. Like look, everybody hammered the fucking Commanders. If you want to make money, hammer the Commanders. This is a steal right here. This is literally highway robbery. Watch us
imagine they pull the upset. They pull the upset.
All right, next game, best game of the week. Game of the week.
What is this? What are these first 2 games?
The New York Jets versus the Cleveland Browns at Cleveland.
Sounds terrible.
Cleveland is the favorites with minus 5.5 with the odds of minus 114 with the New York Jets plus 5.5 with the odds minus 106. So the odds are leaning towards Cleveland. Oh man, this is just a bad game. What, Jacoby Brissett versus Joe Flacco? Is that what it is?
Give me the Browns, man. They already won that first game, that revenge tour. They got it out the way. They're riding on a high right now, and they'll get the win over the Jets. That's my take.
I'll take the Browns as well simply because they got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Just because they have Nick Chubb, they're going to run the ball all over the Jets, and that's how they win that game.
I think the Jets will lose, but they're not will lose by more than 5 points. I got the Browns winning, but the Jets will.
Oh, I think it's gonna be close.
All right, yeah. So me and JoJo got the cover. Gabe doesn't.
Yeah, the Browns win, but they'll be like by 3 points or something.
All right,
game-winning field goal.
We got Browns. All right, this game is probably going to be better than we both might anticipate. At least I think so. Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
I like it.
Tampa Bay is the favorites, even though they're the away team at minus 2.5, with the odds being minus 112. New Orleans has plus 2.5, with their odds being minus 108. Line is leaning towards Tampa. I'm going to take Tampa. Tampa should win by at least a field goal, even though they're away. So I'll take Tampa to cover.
I'll go the same.
Yeah.
I'm Tampa too.
It sounds simple to me.
Baker's back. Baker Mayfield. So the New York Giants pulled off a surprising upset this weekend. They
Shout
were
out
down.
Saquon Barkley's back, boy.
Yeah, he
I
looks
wish I
good
got
when
him
he's
in
healthy.
fantasy.
Yeah,
He
man,
looks good.
they
When
were
he's healthy, he's good.
They were down like that entire game, but they came back and won it. I was genuinely shocked, and I was happy that the Titans lost. But yeah, we have the Panthers plus 1.5 as the away team. New York Jets minus 1.5.
You know,
with the
I like
odds.
this as a game too for the Giants. This is definitely a winnable game for them to start off the season 2-0, especially after that comeback they just had. They get their shit together and just stay organized. Yeah, go ahead. You can start with the predictions, Julian.
I got Carolina. I think Baker played
Ooh.
well. I think
Ooh.
Baker played well. 1.5. I think Carolina wins by a field goal. I really thought the Panthers offense didn't play too bad. I thought Baker looked good. He had a couple of missed throws, but other than that, he looked solid. He threw that bomb to Robbie Anderson to end up winning that game. So yeah, I'll take him.
I got Robbie Anderson on my team. I hope it goes off. Give me Carolina.
And Gabe's a big Baker guy.
Listen, we know Gabe loves Baker's commercials. Hulu has live sport, all the good stuff.
All slander.
I'm gonna have to go against the grain on this one and finally root for New York. Wow, look at me.
Finally root for New York.
Wow, he's leaving Buffalo, going to New York. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Giants on this one.
Jersey boy. All right, this is going to be a boring game, too. There's not a lot of good games, to be honest with you.
Yeah. We haven't. Maybe the Tampa game. The Tampa Saints
New England at Pittsburgh. New England minus 2.5. Pittsburgh plus 2.5. Give me. Yeah. You're at no longer Heinz Field. What is the name now? I forgot. It's called something else. Some
maybe it's Hunt's catch.
I don't know. Can you imagine?
Oh man.
If TJ Watt was playing, I would say Pittsburgh, but he's not. I'm going to say New England covers. I think they're going to bounce back.
Oh man.
I'll take 2.5 minus 2.5.
Give me the Steelers at home, man. Give me the Steelers. I think their defense is really good. I'm not saying anything about Mr. Trubisky. I think he's garbage, but I think they find a way to pull it out. 3 points.
So Gabe's riding on that Black Air Force energy. I love it.
Yeah,
all right. So I was kind of trending towards that side, but I feel like New England's gonna make the necessary adjustments. They did lose to the Dolphins away. They're still away in Pittsburgh. It's not an easy environment to play. Pittsburgh missing a very important piece due to injury. This is a tough one. I might have to go Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I got New England.
Jones,
you guys,
you better play better than fucking Mitch Trubisky, please.
Pittsburgh at home.
I'm right, so you guys got the cover. All right. This one I think is disrespectful. And obviously we can tell by the way the odds are shaking out that everybody disagrees with it. So Indianapolis at Jacksonville.
It looks right to me.
Indianapolis at Jacksonville minus 4.5 to Jaguars plus 4.5. But the line is leaning towards the Jags to the Indianapolis not covering and the Jags getting within 4.5 with a minus 115 to minus 105. And then the straight up win, Jags plus 172 to Indianapolis minus 200. So as some backstory, so you guys know, Indianapolis has not won in Jacksonville. And mind you, we played them every single year at home. They have not won in Jacksonville since 2014.
Wow.
We've won 8 straight times at home against the Colts. We costed the Colts their playoffs last year, the final game of the year.
Yep.
I think this is blasphemy. This is ridiculous. And this is also coming from the Colts, who literally just cut their kicker because he missed their field goal and tied with the Houston Texans. This is an Indianapolis Colts team that tied with the Houston Texans. This is disrespectful.
They cut him?
The kicker?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodrigo Blankenship, yeah.
Damn, so they dropped him like Gabe dropped his kicker.
Yeah, he's costed the Colts a lot, honestly. But give me the Jaguars plus 4.5 and for them to win with the plus 172 because this is ridiculous. You have 8 straight wins against the Colts at home, and the Colts just tied against the Houston Texans. Get the fuck out of here.
Nah, give me Matt Ryan. Jacksonville. I saw 3 minutes of Red Zone. I was watching Red Zone. I was like, man, this Jaguars O-line is terrible. Man.
Also, mind you, the Jaguars lost that game against the Commanders. Commanders did not beat us. We beat ourselves.
Okay.
And I feel like you guys do that every single game. I feel like you just beat yourselves.
It's 0-1 regardless. So give me the Colts. I'll take the Colts to win.
Yo, I'm laughing so hard because it's like I don't want to be disappointed by Jacksonville on this pick. I feel like as soon as I pick them, no matter what backstory Julian gave me, right, the odds could be in our favor, and I'll pick them, and then we'll get shitted on completely because that's what happens when you root for Jacksonville. So this is tough, man. And I'm not even saying I hate the Colts. They're not a great team. Yeah, they tied, but Jags hasn't really proved anything. I'm sorry, Julian. I'm not trying to rant or go. It's just.
I will say they played well against the Commanders. Like they just made too many penalties and dumb mistakes in the offensive line.
You know what? I'll go off Julian's word, guys. Right?
If you want to make money, listen to me. Don't listen to the guy who drafted Tua, Cam Akers, and a rookie kicker. You want to trust that guy?
This is tough, but you know what, Julian? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you gave a great backstory with some facts and some history. And let's make it 9-0 with Jax beating the Colts at home. So I'm gonna go with Jax. I'm gonna go Jax in this pick, and I hope he said fool's goal. And I hope they pull through, and hopefully I get to watch the game. So I don't want to be disappointed, Julian. I'm gonna go with Jax on this one, based off those specific stats that Julian gave.
So, Gabe, you have the Colts covering, and then
I got the Colts winning.
Well, yeah, you got them covering the 4 point. You got them covering the 4.5.
Oh yeah, 20.
And then points. JoJo, do you just have the Jags getting within 4, or do you have them winning?
Winning.
Okay, so you got the plus 172 like me too. All right, here we go. Miami Dolphins versus the Baltimore Ravens, and the odds are split on this one at minus 110.
I want to hear Gabe's pick.
Minus 3.5 to the Ravens, plus 3.5 to the Dolphins, and it's right down the middle with where the bets are going.
Forget all these boring games we've been talking about. This is one of the actual competitive games. It would be interest to everybody in the world, but we watching this game.
Wow, Dolphins competitive.
The truth about Tua.
In the world.
That being said, Lamar Jackson looks too nasty, bro. Give me the Ravens. Ravens at home. Lamar Jackson looks excellent. Lamar Jackson looks like money. He looks like he should get paid.
It sounds like Gabe was the one that sabotaged the parking lot fire in Miami.
Wow. Wow. Anyway,
okay, gone wrong.
Yeah, give me Baltimore. I think Baltimore wins by a TD.
Yeah, I'm going with Baltimore. Hey, listen, if Dolphins pull the upset, kudos to you guys.
It's tough.
Yeah, I'm not going against the grain on that one.
All right. We got Atlanta at Los Angeles. The line leaning towards Atlanta with the plus 10.5. The Rams minus 10.5, but everybody's hitting Atlanta plus 10.5. I'm going to go Atlanta 10.5. I don't trust the Rams to cover 10.5. I don't.
Super Bowl champs. Atlanta. Give me the Rams.
I'm going
Atlanta
Rams.
played well.
I'm going with Gabe,
Atlanta played well.
Listen, they went against Buffalo defense, right? The Falcons is nowhere compared to Buffalo defense. So
Atlanta played well. Marcus Mariota.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Against a really good New Orleans defense. So I think
not Buffalo defense.
I still think they lose. Though, but they get within 10. All right, Seattle at San Francisco.
Oof.
This is
no shot.
Yeah, that is a lot of points. But let's tell the people what the points are. minus 9.5 for San Francisco, and it's at San Francisco, and Seattle plus 9.5. So the line is leaning towards Seattle. The bets are heading that way to minus 112 to San Francisco minus 108. I'm going Seattle to get within 9.5 because I do not trust San Francisco to put 10 on them. I don't trust that, especially the way they played against Chicago. I don't trust
What
that.
an ugly game. Talk about one of the ugliest games of the week. Physically,
It was raining too, wasn't it?
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was raining.
The field was awful.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Julian. So I'll take that.
But San Francisco wins.
Yeah, but they're not going to win by that much.
I'll take Seahawks to cover the points, but also don't be surprised if the Seahawks win. I think they're, you know what?
Ooh.
They got that week one juice.
Someone's on the Geno Smith bandwagon.
Somebody might be, on the waiver wire.
next thing you see, Gabe transaction drop. Geno grabs Geno Smith to team. All right, Cincinnati Bengals at the Dallas Cowboys. Man, they are disrespecting Dallas right now after what happened on
they just lost
Sunday Night Football.
They just lost their quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, but like
Zeke Elliott. I mean, did you see the video? The Zeke Elliott. When Dak went out, they were like throwing stuff at him.
He's always getting hurt, dude.
Like they were throwing cups. Oh, you think that helped? That
yes.
helped him? If you throw
yes.
No,
yes.
It builds character.
Yes, Gabe.
It builds character.
Yes, Gabe. Look, if you're a Cowboy, like I hate Cowboys fan just like anybody else. But god damn it, if I feel bad for them at sometimes. Like it's like shit, dude. Like I've been following this damn team thinking that they're going to Super Bowl every fucking year since 2006. Like
that's fool's gold. Cowboys are fool's gold. Anyways,
but,
man,
at Dallas plus 7.5, Cincinnati minus 7.5. Line lean towards Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati. I think they win by 10.
I'll say the same thing. Give me Cincinnati on the road.
I'm going with Cincinnati. Tough game for Joey B in the first game. He's going to come back. They're going to get settled. They're not going to
look as ugly. They shouldn't. If they look as ugly, man, it's going to be a rough season. All right. What's next?
All right. Houston at Denver. Denver minus 9.5.
Easy money.
Houston plus 9.5. Line leaning towards Denver to cover at minus 114. Houston minus 106. I will take Denver to cover.
Wow. You got to give them 10 points at least?
Denver's winning
by 10. At Mile High?
By 2 touchdowns. We're winning by 2 touchdowns. Hopefully. And I'm calling that right now. Thank you very much.
I hope so. I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Texans. They lose, but they lose closer than 9.5 points.
Oh, you think it's going to be a close game? That's crazy.
Houston might surprise some people. We don't know. I mean, David Mills has been playing not too bad as a second-year quarterback. All right, so we got Arizona at Las Vegas. Las Vegas is minus 4.5. Arizona plus 4.5 with the line leaning towards Las Vegas, minus 115 to Arizona's minus 105.
Didn't Arizona lose that first game? They lost, right?
Arizona got smacked.
They played terrible. I saw a good amount of that game. I did not like what I saw.
They played very bad. I'll take, even though the Raiders lost, they played a really good Chargers team, and they looked really good at times. Devontae Adams and Derek Carr, that partnership is going to continue to grow. They looked pretty well together. They have that experience from back in college. I think Raiders win by a touchdown. I have no faith in Kyler Murray and that Arizona team. I have no faith in them. And Hopkins is suspended for how long?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. Yeah. No.
I forgot about that.
Give me the Raiders easy, man. Give me the Raiders. That's an easy win.
I'm going with Raiders.
Raiders. We've all been picking the same thing for a little. We'll switch it up. Here we go.
Here we go. I might switch my Jacksonville pick. I don't know.
All right, we got Chicago Bears Sunday Night Football. Chicago Bears at Green Bay Packers.
Isn't that another divisional game or rival game?
Yeah, this is probably the biggest rivalry in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm like Bears. Green Bay with 2 back-to-back rival games.
Yeah, okay. But the Bears is different though. Like, yeah, Minnesota's a rival. Don't get me wrong, but like playing the Bears is something else. Like that's probably the most historic rivalry. Bears plus 9.5 to Green Bay's minus 9.5, and surprisingly enough, the odds are leaning towards Green Bay to cover at home with the 9.5.
You know, I'm sorry, and I'm not one to go against Aaron Rodgers. I don't like what I saw that first game. I did not like it at all. And did Chicago win their first game?
No, they lost.
No, they lost.
Who did they lose to?
No, it's San Francisco. Wait, oh my God. Why am I drawing a blank?
Not the 49ers?
Why are we all... Yeah, they played the 49ers. I don't know why we're all drawing a blank right now.
Who was the tie? Oh, you already said it.
It was the Houston and
the Colts.
Oh my God! Wait, Bears won. Why am I?
Yeah, I want to say they won.
Yeah, Bears won. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
I'm going Bears week 2 against Green Bay. Yep, that's my pick.
Which further solidifies my point why San Francisco had such a huge spread. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I'm like, the Bears definitely won that first game. So yeah, I'm going Bears on this one.
Oh no,
I lost it.
Yeah. Give me week 1. Where week 2?
Right here.
I think the Packers win, but they don't cover the points. So I'm gonna go with the Bears. I think the Bears lose.
I agree.
They don't lose by.
Well, taking Bears 9.5, which I'm really surprised the line is leaning towards Green Bay. Maybe it's all those delusional Green Bay fans that are betting on them. All right, so we got Tennessee at Buffalo. Buffalo minus 9.5. Tennessee plus 9.5. Give me Buffalo with the minus 9.5. Tennessee couldn't even beat the Giants, right? And they had the game in the bag.
Give me Buffalo.
Buffalo. JoJo's hometown. He's gonna be a homer for you.
Dame Buffalo, por favor.
All right. And Monday Night Football. This is a pretty good game.
Hey, they both
Minnesota.
won, right?
Oh, was that? Oh, wow. That's actually back-to-back Monday night.
Yeah. Double header.
I didn't know there's double hitter. Those times don't make sense. But anyways, Minnesota at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is minus 1.5 to Minnesota's plus 1.5. So really close game. I'm going to take Minnesota. I really, really liked what I saw from Minnesota. The line's leaning towards Philadelphia, and I know Philly's a hard place to play at. But, man, I feel really good about Minnesota. I think they're going to be really good, and I'll even take them to win it on that plus 112. I think you can make some money there.
I think this is a game to watch. Give me the Eagles. I'm going to overreact and jump on the Eagles hype train. Week 2 because I have Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown on my fantasy team, so I'm jumping on the Eagles train.
Yeah,
I've Hurts too.
They had 55 combined points against me or something like that. So shout out to you, Gabe, with those picks. I got cooked.
Give me the Eagles. What you got, JoJo?
Ooh, you know what? I want to believe in something. But I'm not gonna believe in the Eagles on this one. I'm gonna believe in this Minnesota. I'm gonna jump on the Minnesota bandwagon real quick. I think they're gonna get a win. They're gonna start off 2-0.
Should be a fun game though. This is one of the
Could be a good game.
games.
Yeah.
All right.
And that wraps it up, boys, for their pick'ems. Gabe, did you keep track of them? And when we get to do this segment next week, you better have the scores.
We'll have winners and losers, scores. We'll have the ups and downs. We'll have all the highlights. All the highlights from the Fantasy Football League. Real Fans Podcast. Be here next week. Talk about all the games, all the sports. JoJo, where can they find the podcast?
Listen, man, you can find us on Instagram, Real Fans Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, YouTube. We got an email somewhere. I'm pretty sure you can email us if you want. Julian, where else?
Anywhere else you get your podcast.
Everywhere.
Anywhere.
Live.
Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, all that, all the good stuff.
Hey, man, we appreciate all the downloads, all the subscriptions. So thank y'all for watching us. We'll be back here next week. Real Fan Podcast.